Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, if you've got a Jeep Wrangler, by chance, if you had the trouble code come up that's a P0430, I have numerous times. Finally got to the point where I'm sick of looking at it. Checked it out, and it's going to be either the catalyst on the driver's side and or an oxygen sensor. So we're just going to replace all three components today. I know there's more than one way to do this, but I'm going to show you how I did it, and maybe it'll give you some pointers so you can decide what you do and don't want to do if you decide to do this. So for all the pros out there that tell me, hey, do it all from the top, you can get this done and get that done, maybe so. But purpose of this video, so you can see what's going on and get a better angle at it, I'm going to show you how I did it. Let's take a look at the parts and then let's get started. Okay, here are the parts I purchased. I got these from my friendly Rock Auto, a couple of Bosch O2 sensors. The two sensors, one goes on the very top here, and then one's right next to it in the catalyst. They are the same sensor, so these two are the same. And this is a Walker catalyst unit, and it was reasonably priced. Like I said, I got it from Rock Auto. Got it here in about a week's time, and I've delayed and procrastinated doing this just because this isn't a fun job. I like doing the fun stuff. Anyway, let's get over to it. Okay, this is from the driver's side. I took the liberty of, no pun intended, of getting the front wheel off and the inner liner out of the fender well, just so you can see a whole lot better what's going on. You just got a direct route to those bolts. There's only two on the upper side, right here on either side of the sensor, and it's just much easier to access from this viewpoint. You can do it probably from the top, but my hands don't fit between all these metal brake lines, and it just makes the job a lot easier. Also, a little note, the two O2 sensor little cables, there's a little clip that attaches right here, and so that you don't break it, which I think I broke mine, I see what it looks like, and you're viewing it from this perspective. I think it's in there like that. So to know how to release this, this is what that clip looks like. So if you pinch it right here, it'll pull out, and then you don't have to do like I did and break it. So if you learn nothing else, don't break your clip. Yeah, I'm going to come back in just a moment. I'm going to get those two bolts out, and then we'll move to the bottom of the truck and take the remaining two bolts out. Okay, I just got the two bolts out. That literally took about a minute. Those bolts are not in there real tight, and I went and shot a little PB blaster on everything before I got started, just in case. But those came out very easy, and with the extensions, they're straight out. I got to say that's the easiest way to do this. Let's get under the truck. Okay, from under the truck, this is right behind the front control arms. There are two bolts right there. I've already soaked them with PB blaster. Give me just a moment. I'm going to get them out. Okay, as a tip on removing these are 13 millimeter bolt. Use your ratchet, easily get the bottom one out. Once it's out, the top becomes loose, and you can literally loosen it by hand, or at least I could. If you can't, you would probably need like a stubby wrench, because there's just not a lot of room, as you can see, to get up in there. Not with the ratchet anyway, but anyway, it's out. Let me pull this assembly out, and then we'll take a look at it compared to the new one. Okay, it takes a little bit of finagling to get it out, but you can do it. When you look at it from the bottom, it looks like there are two bolts that hold it on. They do not. Actually, it holds a little bracket so that it has a piece here where when you hang the converter up there, it slips into this and holds it for you, so you can start those bolts. That's really nice. So it does slip out. Not that easy, but it will. Also, the O2 sensors, when you get ready to take them out, they're a 22 millimeter. So this looks just like the original. So we're going to take both of these. We're going to leave these in. No need taking them off, I guess. We're going to install the new ones on this and install it. We'll put the new O2 sensors on this and begin the installation. What might make it a little easier, I think I'll try this first, is see if I can maneuver this into place and then put the O2 sensors in place and then position it in its final resting spot, because Having these sticking out like they do, it just provides one more thing to have to try to work around the suspension. So I think it'll make it a little easier to wait and put them in at the last minute. Let's find out. Just another fast tip. Before I install the O2 sensors, I'm going to put a little anti-seize on the threads, just so that in the future, if we take them out, they won't be welded in place. And then some dielectric grease on the electrical connections. Happen to have it, and let's use it. Well, we learn something every time we do one of these projects, and this is good to find out now. This is the original flange, and notice how it has the studs there for the bolts to go into. Well, that's nice, and it's too bad the Walker unit doesn't have that. The Walker unit slid into place nicely, but it does not have any nuts at all. Got no nuts. So now I'm going to have to get bolts that'll work for that. I'll have to see what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and attach the mounting points up there. It went in nicely. I'll make sure those 10 millimeters go in. One thing I can say is the Walker unit, it looked exactly the same, and I think it is basically, but it's a hair smaller because it actually went in a whole lot easier than the other one came out. So let's go ahead. We'll lower this down a little bit. We'll put those 10 millimeters back in, and then I'll see what kind of bolts we can find to go in the bottom. All right, this is all completed here. The two 10 millimeter bolts are in. O2 sensors are tightened up. They're connected in the appropriate spot. And that bracket that I broke the little tip off of there, there's two holes in that, and a big metal bracket right behind it that it went into. And I ran a zip tie through it. So we're still using the same little yeah, there it is, the same little plastic bracket. It's just held in now by a zip tie. So this is all good up here. Now we just need to find the correct bolt for the bottom. Okay, I did some searching around in the shop, and I found a couple of bolts. Go in there and tighten that up. So that part of it is done. I think we're done. We can get it off the lift now and just put it back together. Guys, I hope that was productive for you. There's some good tidbits to learn from that. One being that I believe you do need to go in through the fender panel to do that. To try to do everything from the top, I think would be way too difficult. Pulling the inner fender panel out is really not a problem, and it makes everything so much easier. Do be sure and check, though, if you're going to buy that catalytic converter, about the bolt problem, because your factory bolts would not work with the Walker unit. So if you're examining other units that are available for sale, check that out to see if they have a welded in nut so that your factory bolt will work, or if you're going to need to buy a pair of bolts. You don't want to be in the middle of this project, 8 o'clock Saturday night or Sunday night. You got to go to work the next day. You're left needing 2 bolts and you don't have them. Anyway, hope you learned something. Check out the next video. We're going to do the spark plugs in this thing, and we're also going to replace the serpentine belt with the idler pulley. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.